don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise, and let me tell you, today's story will leave you shaking your head in disbelief at how far down the rabbit hole the left has gone with this so-called hate speech nonsense. Of which, might I add, they have no problem with hate speech when it's directed at conservatives. So what's got the left losing their daggone minds today? A comedy roast. A campus student group called Uncensored America at the University of South Carolina is planning on hosting a comedy roast of Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris on September 18th. The group describes itself as a nonpartisan organization dedicated to fighting for freedom of speech, and they're getting a lot of pushback from the usual suspects. The NAACP has called on the university to cancel the roast, saying that they must shut down the event if they value black students. Really? What? Black folks don't like comedy? Stop it, man. These people are ridiculous. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, wait, didn't the First Amendment cover all speech, even the speech that might offend some people? You'd be absolutely right in your assessment. But in today's world, the authoritarian left has decided that the Constitution is just a pesky little document that gets in the way of their agenda. So here we are, watching the media, CNN in particular, clutch their pearls over a roast, a comedy event, because in their view, it constitutes hate speech. Check this out.
The University of South Carolina has no plans to cancel an event being billed as a roast of Vice President Harris. I can't even show you the ad for the event because it's sexually explicit, and really I don't want to because it's vile. This so-called roast, and the roast masters are Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes and far-right provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos. The president of the NAACP wants this stopped. He says if South Carolina University's leadership values their black students, it's only right they shut this event down. And we reached out to the university. They pointed us to a statement from the school's president and board of trustees, the chair there. They said in part, censoring even the most hateful individuals and groups does not solve the problems we face in our society, and instead provides them with a platform to win more publicity and support because their message was silenced. As Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis wrote almost a century ago in a vigorous defense of free speech, the solution to fighting offensive speech is more speech, not enforced silence. South Carolina State Senator Tamika Isaac Devine joins us. She's written a letter of her own, also asking the university to cancel this event. I thank you for being with me this morning. These two roast masters, Milo Yiannopoulos and Gavin McInnes. McInnes founded Proud Boys. We know that several of their leaders were sentenced, arrested for their role. in January 6th. Yiannopoulos, beloved by the alt-right for his attacks on Islam, on Black Lives Matter, feminism, resigned from Breitbart after remarks seemingly sympathetic to adult sexual relationships with children. What is the message you believe is sent by the university by this going forward?
Well, good morning, Victor, and thank you so much for having me. I believe that the message that's being sent by allowing a platform for these people is that we are condoning speech that is offensive to a lot of people. I do understand the university's position, but I also think that we have to send a very clear message to all students that we encourage diversity and that we support diverse views, but we also will not condone hate speech or things that will offend others.
I'll say this. I am not a fan or a supporter of the Proud Boys, but I do believe that they have the right to exercise their First Amendment, rights, no different than anybody else. And when it comes to CNN, they say that they support diverse views, but not if those diverse views go against their agenda. I got it. So this event, hosted by none other than Gavin McInnes, founder of the Proud Boys, which he originally created as a joke before the media lost their collective minds, and Milo Yiannopoulos, the infamous provocateur who has been banned from pretty much every social media platform out there, is billed at the roast. A roast, it's the kind of event where the whole point is to poke fun and be somewhat offensive, or I can't even say somewhat, and just to be flat out offensive. I'm sure most of you, you guys have seen these kind of comedy roasts before. Tom Brady just had one recently on Netflix not too long ago. But for those of you who haven't seen a roast before, it goes something like this.
Tonight, we honor a self-made millionaire. He started with nothing, worked hard, and made a fortune. That man is Fred Trump, Donald's dad.
Donald is very happy with his lovely wife, insert name here.
Donald, you've got a great sense of humor. You've been so happy to embarrass yourself on Saturday Night Live, in the casino business.
When Trump bangs a supermodel, he closes his eyes and imagines he's jerking off.
Donald say he wants to run for president and move on into the White House. Why not? It wouldn't be the first time you pushed a black family out of their home.
You've put up more worthless hotels than an autistic kid playing Monopoly.
And Donald, as long as I have you here, it's pronounced huge, not huge. And here's another one. It's pronounced I am fucking delusional, not I am running for president.
I've seen pictures of your house. Everything in your house is gold. Who the fuck decorated your house? Flavor Flav's dentist?
And Donald, I'm not even sure if you're aware of this, but the only difference between you and Michael Douglas from the movie Wall Street is that no one's gonna be sad when you get cancer.
Donald Trump is not only one of my oldest, dearest friends, he's also an American success story. When he graduated college, he put his shoulder to the wheel, nose to the grindstone, borrowed $6 billion from his father, and started a career.
You've ruined more models' lives than bulimia. You've disappointed more women than Sex and the City 2.
Donald Trump, without a doubt, you're a New York landmark, which means it's only a matter of time until you bulldoze yourself to build some gaudy, tacky monstrosity and put your name on it.
Please welcome the second worst tragedy ever to hit New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald J. Trump.
Donald, doesn't it drive you crazy that you'll never build anything as high as me and Snoop right now?
Lisa Lampanelli, man, goodness gracious, that lady is hilarious. Simpler times, man, simpler times. Seriously, back when the left could even enjoy something like comedy. But I think what's got them in a tizzy right now is that the roast goes after one of their own. It goes after their golden child, and that's a big no-no. The left has shifted the Overton window so far that even comedy is now considered a threat if it doesn't align with their agenda. This is where we are right now in America, and it's flat out ridiculous. And to be honest with you, it's scary. You should be scared, because our comedians are the truth tellers, and we've gotten so far away from our comedians being able to just jump out there in a funny way, tell us what's really going on in this country. It's really sad. You know, when a roast, a comedic tradition that's existed for generations, can be labeled as hate speech simply because it offends the wrong people, we're in big trouble.
And so you believe this goes beyond just offensive speech, because obviously offensive speech is protected. You believe what? What's the consequence or implication outside of a room of people who are just saying vile things to one another for a laugh?
Well, I think what it does is it encourages an environment that makes marginalized communities feel more marginalized. The University of South Carolina has done a lot in the last couple of years as far as reconciliation with their racial history. They have done monuments celebrating Black history and the role that African Americans have had in the university. And so I do think that this takes us back a little bit at promoting and giving a platform to people not only that have said vile things, but have promoted violence, like on January 6th.
And you believe that allowing this goes on undermines that work that the university has done?
Well, what I do understand the freedom of speech, but what I think that the university has an opportunity to do now is to show not only do we not condone this, but we will make our university an environment that promotes inclusivity. So I'm encouraging the university to have another event that brings together the diverse groups that are opposed to this event and bring more attention to that. We need to silence what's happening at this roast and bring more attention to it, and allowing people to use the university for that platform is not good, but having another platform that encourages not only people to come and vote and register, but to educate themselves and promote diversity is where we need to be going now.
Come on now. These people are ridiculous, man. I mean, the roast hasn't even happened yet, and we already have people out here talking about it needs to be silenced. These people are ridiculous. You've got Hamas supporters on campus, but you draw the line at comedians telling jokes because they're the wrong type of comedians? I mean, think about this, people. Think about this for a second. You literally have Hamas supporters on campus burning American flags, marching around, talking about death to America, death to Israel. But the left has decided it's not enough just to silence political speech that they don't like. Now they're coming for comedy. I mean, it's just, these people they're awful, man. These are awful people. And to be honest with you, man, if they succeed in this, nothing will be off limits. And this claim that this roast will make marginalized students feel unsafe from what exactly? From jokes? From satire? What they're really saying is that any speech that challenges their worldview must be silenced because it makes them uncomfortable. And they'll use the term hate speech as a weapon to do so.
University, and again, the image, and I know describing it this way is unfortunately going to lead some people to go look for it, but it's a vile image, this advertisement. The university has condemned it and the language used on it. We heard from the president of the university and South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster on why they will not call for this event to be canceled. Here's what they said.
What they say, again, it's First Amendment rights, and it's not the endorsement of the university, it's the students who invited them.
Unless there's some truth threat, unless there's a real danger involved, which you probably will not know until it gets started, then the university has no right to cancel it.
We've also heard from the White House. The press secretary has talked about this. Obviously, the governor there. Short of cancellation, what are you calling on them to do? Is it just this counter event, voter registration? What do you want them to do, if not end it?
Well, I think the university, and I've had lots of conversations with universal leadership, I think what we're looking at is using this an opportunity to show where we are in this country, and most importantly, where we can go. And these students are fired up, and they are participating not just in the electoral process, but educating each other about diversity and representing diversity. So I think that we can use this as a long-term opportunity to promote diversity. Our state is one of 2 states that doesn't have hate crime legislation. How do we encourage our legislature to pass hate crimes legislation? How do we make sure that we have good judges on the bench that will help us long term? So I think that this can be an opportunity for us to really engage young people long term in the democracy and saving democracy in our country.
These people are ridiculous. They really are. I mean, that's how they really expect to save democracy? Really? By stifling free speech and throwing the First Amendment out the daggone window? I mean, it's incredible. I mean, someone tell them that all speech, even hate speech, is protected under the First Amendment. Some may not like it, but there's no constitutional carve out whatsoever for speech that offends someone. How do I put this nicely? Delicate sensitives. The Supreme Court has ruled time and time and time again that speech, even offensive speech, is protected because the very essence of free speech is that it's meant to protect unpopular opinions, not just ones the media deems acceptable. But the left has no interest in protecting free speech. If these people had their way, they would throw the daggone Constitution out and start over with some totalitarian document that would lean in their direction. These people, they want to control free speech. Think about that, man. And that's what the uproar is all about. It's about control. The authoritarian left doesn't want a debate of ideas. They don't want to engage in a marketplace of thoughts where they might be challenged. They want to silence any dissent and label it as hate speech so they never have to confront opposing viewpoints. It's not enough for them to disagree with the roast. They could do that if they want to. But these people want to shut it down completely. They want to send a message loud and clear that if you make fun of Kamala Harris, if you roast her, if you even joke about her, we'll come for you. And honestly, this kind of overreach should terrify every American, no matter where you stand at, no matter what aisle, what side of the aisle you sit on politically. If they can label comedy a simple roast hate speech, what's next? Will posting a meme poking fun at Kamala or any other Democratic politician be considered as an act of violence? Will what we're doing right here on this channel, commenting on, current events and what's happening in our country and around the world outside the mainstream media landscape, will they come for us next? It's highly probable. Do you think free speech should be up for debate? Or what should we be able to criticize our leaders? No matter which side of the aisle you're on, without labeled as dangerous or hateful, you should be able to criticize. You should be able to operate, in your freedoms and in your First Amendment right. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this entire controversy. So leave me a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit that like button for me, man. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family. Make sure you share it with folks that really need to see this information because it's getting crazy out there. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you hadn't done so already. And also, hit that notification bell. That way you never miss a new video or a new update from me. I appreciate each person that supports the channel. Consider joining the ARP family. It supports me, the channel, the team. It gives us the ability to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. I appreciate each person that has joined the ARP family thus far. I promise you, I do not take it for granted. I really, really don't. I appreciate you guys. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. And I'm going to catch up with you all next time. Peace.